What's going on, Bridge the Gap fans? It's your boy AJ2K here live here in the flesh. We are back with another piping hot episode of Bridge the Gap, and I don't know about KC, and he about to pop on the screen in a little bit, but I don't know about him. I got a lot of stuff I need to get off my chest today. A lot has happened in the NFL, especially in Week 8. So KC, come up on the screen. Let me know how you're feeling, how you're doing. How you doing, my dog? How you
You
feeling?
know how I'm feeling. It's another day. Blessed, happy to be alive. And like you, sir, I got a lot to get off my chest today, too.
Man, we got a lot to get into. So we're going to jump right into it. We don't want to waste no time because we got more than enough NFL topics to get into. Just to let y'all know, we talking nothing but NFL today because there's so much going on. Basketball, KC, we'll get there. We'll get there in a little bit. We'll get
It's
there in a little
long
bit. But
season.
for now, we want to talk straight football. And with that being said, my dog, KC, I must ask you, what are your thoughts on week 8?
So, week 8, I learned a lot. Week 8. What I learned week 8 is that the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. And I know,
Oh, that's how we started the
and
show.
I know, I just threw that bold thing out there this early in the show. I don't care. But the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. And the reason why I say that is because the way they looked last Thursday night against the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray, who was my pick to win MVP, which is now in question because I think Aaron Rodgers said, I'm knocking on the door. But we'll get to that whole situation in a minute. But I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers came to Arizona and they said, we still the big dogs. And they showed Arizona what was up. Not only, and this is how you can tell the true mark of a great team or a really good team. One, if you're able to stop them, if you're able to play good defense on the defensive side of the ball and stop them. And two, if you're able to run the ball, if you can control the tempo, control the clock, run the ball, and stop them on the other side, that's a Super Bowl team. And not to mention, and I know you like to say that bad man Aaron Rodgers is still there and in the flesh. So I think just from what I saw from the Packers last week, I think that they have an opportunity to do something special this year. I was high on them coming in, especially when Aaron Rodgers said, I'm going to come back. I would have been high on them with Jordan Love, which we'll also get to in a little bit. Either way, but with Aaron Rodgers, you are right now win ready. This is probably the best defense he's had since they won the Super Bowl. You got Aaron Jones, you got AJ Dillon, who I've been telling you is Derrick Henry Jr.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
care. That man is a beast, and I'm standing on it. If there was no Aaron Jones, I would feel comfortable with AJ Dillon being my running back. Now he has to figure out the fumbling issues because he has had issues with that. But in terms of just a tank, which one last thing I'll say about this game, because now that I'm talking about AJ Dillon, it's reminded me how frustrated I was watching the Packers 5 times at the goal line have an opportunity to put the ball in the end zone, and not one time is AJ Dillon on the field. What are we doing?
Mm.
What are we doing? And also, for all you people that think that Matt LaFleur should have just went for it on fourth down in the NFC Championship game, nothing is guaranteed. And Aaron Rodgers was on the field for those plays. So
You still
that's
had a
all
better
I'm saying.
chance at winning. You still had a better chance at winning if you went for it. That's all. That was my case. You
We
still
don't,
put it in Aaron Rodgers' hands
and it
because
was the
it's
game
the
was put in
NFC
Aaron Rodgers'
Championship.
hands against Arizona. And what happened? They didn't get the ball in at the
That's
one
true,
yard line.
but that don't
Aaron Rodgers
happen
would have had to
every
get
possession.
9,
That
8.
don't happen. That don't happen every possession. That don't happen every game. And it's the NFC Championship. You got to lay your cards on the table. That's just me. You got to put it out there. That you
Well,
can't.
he
You
put
can't
it.
be
Well,
playing
he put his faith
conservative.
in the defense. The irony of that, the defense is what won this game in Arizona, and the NFC Championship. The defense blew it. So, I mean, you put the faith in the defense. They got to step up. They didn't do it in the NFC Championship. They were able to do it here. But the Packers impressed me, and I know I'm talking super spicy, but I think right now, I think the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. And then, secondly, I want to touch on this because this opened my eyes. My eyes was open when I saw this. The New Orleans Saints, like I said, were able to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I'm not as excited because we lost Jabu. We
Mm-hmm.
lost Jameis Winston in the process. And honestly, I think if Jameis would have played, he still would have lit them boys up. Because it didn't matter who was in the game. That defense was on fire. Tom Brady clearly looked uncomfortable. I think the game was even closer than it showed. They were down, 20? They were down 3 scores in the third quarter, and then or in the third quarter, and then we saw Tom Brady just eat up on the scrubs. So I think that the Saints with Jameis would have been just as good, if not better. Unfortunately, I do have to say this, Bridge the Gap fans, because Jameis went down. I know I picked the Saints to win this division. I got to get off the bandwagon. Like
He's
Alvin
like, okay, that's
Kamara.
fair. That's
Alvin
fair.
Kamara. Listen, wonderful talent. I just can't ride with him. I can't ride with him no more.
Not him by himself.
Not him by
Not him
himself.
without a
And,
quarterback.
and you know who else realized that? Michael Thomas.
Like
He said,
he think he's bro. I don't care nobody say. I heard Keyshawn Johnson come out and be like, oh no, it's got nothing to do with that. He loves the quarterbacks. Why is it that you were scheduled to come back around
on
this
track
time? On track. Everything was perfectly fine. Soon as Jabu go down, I'm out for the season. Come
for the
on now.
season. He
Come
didn't even say like,
on.
okay, a couple of weeks, a setback. No, I'm done. I'm shutting it down. So I peaked.
It's
I peaked
suspect.
game.
It's suspect.
It's suspect for sure. So for that reason, I just can't be in on the Saints anymore. So you precious Tom Brady fans, you precious Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, I am conceding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this sorry division now that the Saints are out of it. But they did show if you can make Tom Brady feel uncomfortable in the pocket, if you have the cornerbacks like Douglas, like Stokes, like Jair, if he comes back, to make Tom Brady have to hold on to the ball a little longer, and you have an offense that can go down there and run the football and move the football down the field, you have a chance to beat this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. And like I said, week 8 taught me Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are going to this year's Super Bowl in Arizona this year.
For me, week 8 taught me a lot too. Some things I didn't want to see, some things I like to see. I'm going to start with what I like to see first. My Birds went out there and got it done. Now, granted, it was against the Detroit Lions. They dropped 44. Most of it was because the defense played out of their mind. Nick Sirianni out of nowhere decided, now that Miles Sanders isn't in the lineup, we should run the ball. Don't know what's up with that, but the man ran the ball 26 times. Very interesting. I'm starting to believe there's some beef going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But Philly got it done. And the last thing I'll say about Philly today, because I don't want to talk about them for too long, because the moment I get to talking about them, they get to letting me down. Philly's schedule down the stretch is looking a little suspect. It's looking like Philly played a lot of the teams that they were supposed to lose to early in the season, like the Chiefs and the Bucks. They played the Raiders. They got the Chargers coming up next. I know you're looking at that schedule right now. Listen. The Chargers game is at the crib. Eagles haven't won a home game yet this season, but that game's at the crib. The Chargers did just lose. I don't like the fact that they lost because now they're hungry coming off a loss, but you just never know any given Sunday. From that point forward, though, we got nothing but the division. We got the Giants coming up. We got Washington coming up. We got the Jets coming up. I mean, we got a lot of winnable games, meaning like the Eagles could still sneak into the offs type winnable. So I just want to put everybody on notice that even though the division is lost, and I'm going to talk about Dallas in a hot second, even though the division, it's lost, it's over, it's done. Thank you, Minnesota Vikings. Thank you, New England Patriots. It's done, it's over with. Even though the division is lost, with them adding that extra playoff seed this year, don't be shocked if the Eagles slide in just off the strength of schedule, because I mean they schedule looking cakewalk like. I'm just saying.
This schedule is garbage.
That's what I'm saying. But if you look at the start of the schedule and all the teams they had to play to start the season, I was telling everybody the Eagles have had a tough season, so like a tough schedule so far. It's been They played the Raiders. They finna play the Chargers. They played the Chiefs. And I know the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs of old, but they can still put up points, especially against us, right?
And they did. They put up
Um,
42 on y'all.
exactly. Who else did we play? Dallas, obviously. Like we we played the Niners early in the season when everybody still thought they were going to be solid. Like we played some tough teams early on, and now we're starting to finally play teams that we supposed to beat. And from the looks of it, to me, the Eagles are losing to the teams for the most part that they're supposed to lose to, and literally handing it to the teams that they're supposed to hand it to. So look out for them down the stretch of this season. That's all I'm gonna say. Get a little bit of steam, momentum, slides into the playoffs. You just never know. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that there. I want to move on to the Dallas Cowboys because I want to say something about them, and I'm gonna make it quick because I don't want to harp on it for too long. They're for real. They're serious.
Yes.
They're serious. They're serious. And this is what I'll say about them. Now, that don't mean they gonna go win the bowl or nothing like that. You know what I mean? That don't mean they even gonna get to the NFC Championship. I ain't gonna go that far just yet. What I am gonna say though is they have something that they haven't had in a long time. See, they've always had an amazing offense. They've always had since the days of Bledsoe, since the days of Romo, when you had T.O., then you had Dez Bryant, you had DeMarco Murray, then you had Zeke Elliott, to the days of now where you got Dak and Amari Cooper and Zeke and that offensive line and CD Lamb. And, you know, they've always had a crazy good offense that could give you 30 on any given night, 40 on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever. The defense has always been where I've been able to hang my hat. Like they
Mhm.
gonna give up 50. If they score 40, they gonna give up 50. You know what I mean? They gonna give up 30, 40. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna give up a good amount of points. So I never count teams out against them, especially on the road. But this year, first off, Diggs is picking off everything in his direction. Didn't get a pick last game, but he picking off everything in his direction. They just played the freaking Minnesota Vikings. I personally thought the Vikings was going to put up points. You at home, you playing against a backup quarterback, and I don't know if it was because they played conservative on the offensive side of the ball or it was mainly the Dallas Cowboys defense, but Dallas shut them boys down. And I'm like, this ain't the first week I've seen this season where I've looked at their defense and be like, yo, they moving kind of fast. They kind of quick. They kind of quick. They closing out kind of quick there. Like, oh, he open. Oh, they got there quick. Like, we hit him kind of hard. Like, okay. Dallas, y'all straight. Like, no, I give them credit. Their defense looked like it's pretty legit. I called them overrated last week. I can't say that this week. I do anticipate them choking when it matters most. I do. But for now, I give them credit for now. Them boys is balling. Other things I noticed in week 8 as I pull this back up, because I got notes. I ain't trying to miss nothing. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't know about these brothers, man. Like they really struggling. I
Talk
mean,
to him.
20-17 to the Giants. Patrick Mahomes throwing picks every week. You think he playing Diggs every week? He throwing it to the opposing team every week. We ain't never seen this man play like this before. That defense is obviously not what it's supposed to be. We knew it would be bad, but I mean, damn, like you said last week, it's just not great. It's just, I don't know how to feel about these boys right now. Honestly, I still, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Travis Kelce. So and you got Andy Reid. You still look at that team like it's no way they could be this bad this year. Like you still, in my opinion, you still slightly fear them because they're the Chiefs. They've been to 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. They won one. You got the MVP of 2 years ago, Patrick Mahomes. He's probably the best quarterback in football. Like you still fear them, but you at the same time like, yo, they really.
Is he?
I mean, right now,
If you
it's Aaron
ask me
Rodgers.
right now, would I rather have Mahomes or I'll take Brady right now over Mahomes.
I mean, yeah. I would take
If you
Brady. And I
put
would
if
take
you put
Rodgers.
Brady on the Chiefs with this same team,
Yeah,
they not doing what they doing, and Brady not making these mistakes.
that's true. So I don't know what to make it at KC. The last thing I want to quickly say, because I know we're gonna talk about this, but I want to talk about it first. Okay, I'm throwing a wrench in things. I want to talk about it first. Where this mug at? Here you go. Justin Fields. Yes, sir. I want to go there first, KC, because even though the Chicago Bears lost this game, they started to do something that I've been saying they should do now, which is play this man like he's Lamar Jackson. I understand he's not Lamar Jackson, but when you get him out of the pocket You run a little play action, you run a little read option. He gets to getting that confidence. He gets to moving outside of the pocket. And what do you know? You get a game where he goes 19 to 27 for a touchdown, 175 yards, just one interception, a mistake there. He rushes the ball 10 times, 103 yards, two touchdowns, 10 yards per carry. All I'm saying is to get the best out of him at the moment. This isn't something that you want to do long term. I get that. But to get the best out of him at the moment, this is how you have to play Justin Fields. You got to allow him to use one of his greatest assets, which is his mobility. You got to get him out of the pocket as much as possible. You cannot let him be a standing target in the pocket because we know how bad the offensive line is. I wish I could pull the video up, but there's one play in particular. The pocket collapses. He scrambles out of the pocket, runs it in for a touchdown. I think in like the third quarter, when the game was still really tight. That's a play that Andy Dalton cannot make, which is why I was telling you, KC, from the jump. They lose this game with Andy Dalton in there too, because the defense gave up 33 and Dalton ain't putting up 33. It's just not happening. But you have a better chance at winning that game with Justin Fields because he can move and he's not a stationary target. You also have other options that you can open up, like the read option to get his legs going, to get that confidence going. And then what do you know? The team on the offensive side of the ball, I can't say much about the defense, but the offensive side of the ball, they begin to play better. They begin to play motivated. So that's all. I just wanted to make sure I brought that up before you say what you got to say about Fields, because I know it's coming. We know it's coming, people. We know it's coming. But I just want to point out, you did say on the record last week, let's see how he looks against those 49ers. I'm sure he's going to be running for his life. And he was. But he looked damn good doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, see, bridge the gap. This is what AJ likes to do. He likes to do that slick stuff, right? Where he'll throw little things in there to make it seem better than it really is. Let's really talk about what Justin Fields did. I don't care if Justin Fields ran for 250 yards. His legs got him drubbed at home by a shaky 49ers team by 11. That's what them legs got you. Bust. And you mentioned, oh yeah, he's running. I've said it. I get it. Justin Fields can run. He's fast, but I do not want Justin Fields running 10 times a game. I'm sorry. I just don't. He is the franchise, quote unquote. That offensive line is already bad, right? He was still sacked 4 times in this game for a loss of 27 yards, running for his life. Every time he ran, it wasn't necessarily because he had or it was a design run. No, it's because there was probably nobody open. The pocket was collapsing, like you mentioned on the play you was talking about, and he ran. I don't want Justin Fields doing it. I want Justin Fields to be able to sit in the pocket and make the go through the progressions and make the right play. That's what I want out of Justin Fields. That's when he is at his best and then able to beat you with his legs. I don't want Justin Fields using his legs to beat you because he's not going to do that. He's not Lamar Jackson. I would rather him be more like a Kyler Murray, somebody who's fast. You can throw some design runs in there, but the essence of Kyler Murray's game is in the pocket. He's not running 10 times a game. He's not running 15 times a game. If Justin Fields does that, he will get hurt. He's already shown that he has an injury history. And if I have him running 10 plus times a game on top of being sacked 5 plus times a game, you're going to run into some issues at some point in the season. Look at somebody like a Jameis Winston coming out the pocket, freak accident, get hit. Like, I don't want Justin Fields taking those type of hits because ultimately, if I'm the Chicago Bears, I want Justin Fields to be my quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years, not 1 to 3 because he keeps getting hurt, a la RG3. But since we're on the topic of Justin Fields, let's talk about it. You mentioned it. Yes, he did run the ball a lot, but at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say Justin Fields gives you a better chance to win, and he's not winning. So what's the chance? You just not going to win with nobody? If that's the case, I would rather Justin Fields still be on the sideline. I've said this, and I will continue to say this. Justin Fields being in the game is not helping his development. Sure, he's getting those game reps. Sure, he's able to see things that he won't see in practice or that he isn't going to get the opportunity to see in practice. But at the end of the day, the dudes he's out there throwing the ball to, the dudes that sitting there blocking, aren't the dudes that are going to be with him moving forward and probably next year. So the team that's coming in next year, he's going to have to develop all new chemistry. They're probably going to have to develop. I don't think Nagy will be there, so there's probably going to be a completely new offense that he's going to have to learn, and this process is going to start essentially all over, and he'll be forced to do more next year. So all I'm saying, if you're a Bears fan, there's no reason to put him out here this year. Whether it's this year or next year, he's still going to be developing probably at the same rate due to what he's doing this year. Justin Fields, you can run 10, 15, 20 times a game, damn it, if you want to. But at the end of the day, running the football is not the quarterback position. If it was, it would be called running back. But there's already a position on the field called running back, and Justin Fields ain't one. At the end of the day, a quarterback has to be able to throw the football. We've seen Lamar Jackson in these situations in the playoffs where he's not able to throw the football, and what happens? He usually loses the football game. All I'm saying, Justin Fields, I want you in the pocket. If you're a Bears fan, it would have just made sense to let him sit out a year.
We've seen multiple scrambling quarterbacks, running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson have success. Just because he
Who
ain't had the most, we've seen Michael Vick have success. We've seen Russell Wilson, who's mobile, have success. We've seen Deshaun Watson have success. To your defense, yes, they could throw from the pocket, but all I'm getting at is early in this man's career, it doesn't hurt to get him out there and get those game reps, bro. You can't convince me that the man not learning nothing out there playing amongst NFL football players, bro. Like that's my thing. And
I'm
again,
not.
it's
He's
hard to
getting
walk in.
game reps.
It's hard to walk in that locker room, and we're gonna talk about some locker room stuff in a little bit. But it's hard to walk into that locker room as a head coach and tell your team, we're gonna put this guy in there for now while we groom this other guy, knowing, and we just disagree on this, knowing that the guy that you're quote unquote grooming is better than the guy you putting in there. It's hard for your players and your team to come out and play motivated and play like they want to win football games when they know they're holding back the best talent that can be played on the football field. As a player, you want the best players on the field. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's unexperienced. Yes, right now he's struggling to go through his progressions. Yes, he's taking a lot of hits. But again, as a teammate, that's who you want on the field, opposed to a guy that you walk into an arena, you walk into a stadium, and you don't have no shot with Andy Dalton. You don't have a real shot. At least with Justin Fields, you have a puncher's chance. This guy can get out of the pocket and make plays and facilitate and putting up points, or at least moving the ball downfield, doing better than Andy Dalton. That's just me.
What's hold on? What's a puncher's chance? They play over the next 5-6 weeks. Over the next, no, I'll just give you the rest of their schedule. They play the Steelers, the Ravens, the Lions, the Cardinals, the Packers, the Vikings twice, the Seahawks, and the Giants. And the Seahawks,
They can
Russell
beat.
Wilson will probably be back, and that's
They
on the road.
can't.
How many of
They
those games do you
can
think
be.
they
They
win?
can't. They have the talent to beat Seattle with or without Russell Wilson. Because if you remember,
All
Russell
right.
Wilson and the Seahawks wasn't looking great at all before he went down in the first place. They have a puncher's chance there. You mentioned the Lions and the Giants; those are dubs. You mentioned the Vikings. I don't know about them at all, especially if they got to go to Soldier Field. They never win there, so that's a dub. You got me on. I believe you said the Packers.
Cardinals, Ravens,
Cardinals, that's the
Steelers.
L. Ravens. They can beat the Steelers. The Steelers are sweet to me. I'm sorry. They
They're
sweet
playing
to
the
me.
Steelers on the road. All right.
The Steelers aren't what people think they are to me. That's just me. I'm just saying they have a better chance at winning those games with Justin Fields than they do Andy Dalton. And I'm standing on that because I think he's better than Andy Dalton. I really think even right now, I think he's better, not only better as a player, but I think he's better fit for that offense. With as bad as that offensive line is, I think he's better fit than Andy Dalton, who's going to sit back there and be a sitting duck the whole. And he was going to get hurt. As like you keep on bringing up Justin Fields getting hurt. Andy Dalton, he's hurt now. He's hurt now because he's a sitting duck in the pocket. He's hurt now. Like at some point, he was going to go down, and Fields was going to be in the lineup anyway. It was going to happen at some point this season. Not only does Andy Dalton have injury history, but He has a terrible offensive line this year. He was gonna drop. The Red Rocket was gonna crash at some point. It was bound
See,
to happen.
and that's the thing. That's where we disagree. I mean, I just see them going possibly 3-6, 2-7 to finish the season. If that's what we're rewarding now, then I guess cool. But I just think that Justin Fields would have learned more watching someone else go through what he's going through right now and developing in the locker room, learning how to be a leader, continuing to learn how to be a leader, then going out there every week and getting sacked 4, 5, 6 times again. Like and losing. And I know you say you think they'll beat the Steelers on the road. I disagree. I know you say you think they can beat the Vikings and the Seahawks. Like, no, like the 3 of those 4 games are on the road. And Justin Fields can't even win at home against the 49ers. Like,
Right,
what
but
makes
those
you think
teams,
he can beat the Steelers on the road?
right, but those teams aren't good either. The Steelers and the Vikings just lost to a backup QB. They're and they lost in Minnesota. Like they're not that
Divisional
great either.
game is different.
Man,
It don't
look, let
matter.
me just
Divisional games don't matter.
divisional games matter, of course, bro. But that game against Dallas was important for Minnesota. Like they needed that because they got the Ravens coming and the Chargers and I forget the other team they got to play, but they got a tough schedule. This was their gimme game with Dak out. This was their gimme game, and they blew it at the crib. But you know what? We gonna always agree to disagree on Justin Fields. I just know it.
What
But
regions
I
is this
wanna,
in?
but I wanna give you this opportunity because word has come out that Aaron Rodgers has COVID. Word has come out Aaron Rodgers has COVID. Apparently he lied about it, but I'll let you get into that if you want to. I know what you really want to talk about, and that's Jordan Love. Jordan Love making his debut against the Chiefs. This is the day KC has been waiting on. Like this is what KC has been waiting on. To see this boy right here, Jordan Love,
Let's
with
get
an
active.
opportunity to showcase what he could do really for the first time since entering the league. Yes, he played in the preseason some, but it's the preseason. We don't really count that. Now, his debut, KC, what do you expect from Jordan Love? Is it his time, KC? Is it his time?
All I gotta say for Packer fans is let's get active, baby. It's J Love season. You know we fired up if you a J Love fan, like I am. Packer fans, I got one word for you. RELAX. Relax. J Love is coming to save the day. I don't care if it's in Kansas City, Green Bay, or Canada. It doesn't matter. J Love is showing up and he is going to be ready. I saw him this preseason and he has an arm on him. He has an arm. Now, mind you, he was playing against scrubs, or he was playing with scrubs, but he was also playing against scrubs too. Like, it wasn't necessarily the ones on ones. He was playing with the twos, maybe a couple ones shattered in there. But this Kansas City defense, if you're going to get a defense to start your career against, you want it to be this defense. Like the Kansas City has looked awful. Like they almost lost to New York, the Giants, like you mentioned last week. They're coming off a short week, so they're already going to probably be a little banged up. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, you have a very similar game plan, but for different reasons with Jordan Love than you did as you did last week when you had Devontae Adams out. Now, Devontae Adams will probably be back for this game, so he'll at least have that weapon on his side. But you run the ball. You have AJ Dillon. You have Aaron Jones. They're not going to be able to stop that running game. Like they won't be able to
So
stop
you
it. Now
so you got all this love for Jordan Love, but then like the keys to the victory, even though the Chiefs pass defense is awful, the keys to victory is just run the ball. Just basically let Jordan Love game manage his debut. Don't let him go out there and air you out for 350,
well,
400 yards.
why would
Let
you
him
put him in a position to fail?
why would he fail in that kind of position? He's playing against the worst pass defense in football, dang near. Like why? How?
This is
If
his
he's if
NFL
he's this
debut.
great, if he's this great, I mean, we just saw homie from the Jets come out and just play
Yeah, he has
steamroll the
nothing to lose.
Bengals.
No one
He
cares. Like
Jordan
most
Love ain't
people
got
didn't even know his name.
Jordan Love ain't got much to lose. This is his first game, so I
What?
mean, You go out there and
Jordan
play
Love has
free.
everything to lose.
Oh my gosh.
If
You're
Jordan Love
making the
goes
whole
out there and looks bad,
you're making excuses for Jordan Love. And you
I'm not
want this
making any
this
excuses
what
for Jordan
KC
Love.
want. This what KC wants, y'all. KC wants Jordan Love to go out there, pass for like 175 to 200 yards, throw like 2 touchdown passes on from the 10-yard line. And then he want AJ Dillon to go out there and rush for like 153 touchdowns. And he gonna be like, I told y'all, Jordan Love is that dude. He led us to victory. It was Jordan Love. Yeah, AJ Dillon did his thing, but it was all about Jordan Love. No. You've been gassing Jordan Love like he gonna be that dude in Green Bay. Now I'm not saying he's supposed to go out there and throw for 400 yards, even 350 in his debut. But I'm trying to see Jordan Love drop back in that pocket like you want Justin Fields to. I'm trying to see him drop back in that pocket and fling the football. I'm not trying to see the Green Bay Packers win because of AJ Dillon. Nah, because then we're gonna give that credit to AJ Dillon where it belongs. I'm not trying to see that defense play out of their mind. No, I want Mahomes to give you boys a 30 burger, as you like to say. And I want Jordan Love to come out there and give me 34. That's what I want to see. That's all I'm saying. At least give me 27, make it a game. The way
Okay.
you talk about the kid, I would think he got that in him. We've seen great debuts before from young quarterbacks.
You're absolutely right.
Especially against Kansas City. I mean, they playing Kansas City.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. So this is what AJ is trying to do here. AJ is trying to mislead the public. And when I say mislead the public, what he's trying to do is gas up some of the other teams on the Packers, like a Devontae Adams, like a running game, and essentially put all the pressure on Jordan Love to go out there and give you like a 300 yarder, a 3-tug game, shootout with Patrick Mahomes, who he mentioned in this same show is a 2-time Super Bowl appearance player and also an MVP of 2 years ago. And it's been the 3 straight AFC championships. Like, this is the shootout that AJ wants. So when it doesn't happen, and it's kind of like a low-key type of game, he can be like, I don't know if Jordan Love is that dude. When we just sat here and had a whole Justin Fields segment about how he should be out there getting game reps. Do not let AJ fool you. Packer fans, RELAX. There is nothing to fear. Batman is on the way. Jordan Love is about to make his NFL debut. And if you're a Packer fan like me, and if you're a Jordan Love fan, you're excited because we saw Jordan Love in the preseason, but it's the preseason, right? Like, he looked good at times. He had his moments, but it's like, how much are they really trying to protect him? Just try to get him some reps because this is first NFL action. And how much is this like Jordan Love? So now we get to see Jordan Love in a full game, live NFL, week 8. At this point, these games matter. Like, seeding starts to matter. Teams, you kind of know who's for real, who's probably in a rebuilding year or tanking for the draft. Now these games matter. So we get to see him against one of the best quarterbacks in the league, arguably top 5 for sure, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and we get to get a real accurate assessment of his talent. Coming into the draft, a lot of people compare Jordan Love to Patrick Mahomes. He has a big arm, raw talent, and he can run a little bit. This is what they said about Mahomes. They compare Jordan Love. So to see this matchup in Jordan Love's first career, a repeat, okay, a repeat of the first Super Bowl, and it's J Love versus Patrick Mahomes. It's like a dream come true. The team is going to protect him, like I said. They're not going to make him go out there and throw the ball 50 times a game. That's a recipe for disaster because why would you do that? And you have Aaron Jones on the field. You have A.J. Dillon. You have the offensive line. It makes no sense to do that. But like I said, Devontae Adams should be there. So he's going to have a number one weapon. And we just saw them win shorthanded, 11 starters out against Arizona last week. So follow that game plan. Let Jordan Love play within Matt LaFleur's system, who I mentioned last week was going to be the X factor in that game. And you got a recipe for success. Packer fans, RELAX. There's nothing lost. You got Jordan Love. Batman's coming to say today.
Jordan Love is bad, man. Okay, this is my bold prediction about Jordan Love's debut. I think he'll be okay. I think the Packers will lose because they don't have Aaron Rodgers. I think
Mm,
they'll lose. I spot Jordan Love 21 points. I say AJ or what's the name scores two of them. And I think Jordan Love goes for I give him 210 a touchdown. I say he throws anywhere between 25 to 30 passes.
mm-mm.
I think he has that's a decent game. That's a decent game. And he might even throw less than that. He might throw like 23, 24. I don't know. But I see this is my thing. This is my take. I don't think Jordan Love is a bad quarterback. I just think pushing a guy who was one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game out the door, probably a couple seasons too early. We've seen this already. We saw this happen with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady went on to win more Super Bowls or to win another Super Bowl. I think the same thing would happen here. Like I think you put Aaron Rodgers on another team, Aaron Rodgers could very well go win the Super Bowl because he's probably got another 2-3 good more years in him. You don't push him out the door for Jordan Love. That's just
So
you,
okay,
you get as much out of that man as you can, and then once you realize he's gone, okay, I throw Jordan Love out there now.
so you're the Packers GM, right? So what do you do? What do you do if you're the Packers GM? You're in the situation that you're in right now. You
Keep
say
Aaron
you
Rodgers.
don't push Aaron Rodgers out the door. So what do you do?
First off, I don't draft Jordan Love. I don't even put myself in this situation. But since you're in this situation, I'm still personally riding out Aaron Rodgers until I feel like he cannot play or until he don't want to be here. If
Until
Aaron
when?
Rodgers is still MVP level Aaron Rodgers, I'm not letting that man go till he ready to go. And if that upsets Jordan Love could go somewhere else too. I will draft another quarterback when it's time.
So let me
That's
get
just
this
me.
straight. So what you're saying is you would essentially ride Aaron Rodgers until he's washed, and then do what? Be
Draft
like the
another quarterback.
Steelers?
Draft a quarterback.
Be
That's what I
like the
would do.
Steelers? What are the Steelers
No,
gonna do?
when he's washed, he's washed. But when he's washed, you'll know, and that's when you know to move up in the draft. If the team is good, you might not have to move up, but draft a quarterback at that point.
And
But
then be
I'm not.
like the
I'm
Steelers. See,
personally
the draft this year, it's not like last year's quarterback draft. The quarterbacks coming out this year are so at best.
see. This is the thing. I don't. I think Aaron Rodgers has another 1 to 2, maybe even 3 good years at this level left in him. So if it's 3 years down the line, I got to get a quarterback. Cool. If it's 2 years and I got to get a quarterback, cool. But I'm
So now
not
you're
trading.
wasting
I'm not.
seasons.
I'm not trying to I'm not trading a MVP candidate, bro. I'm not trading an MVP caliber player because I think at some point he's gonna be washed. Because I can't tell the future. I don't know when the man's gonna be washed. What I do know is right now he that dude. He the reigning league MVP could very well win that mug again. Just beat the Cardinals without half of his receiving core. I'm keeping that man as long as he's willing to play for this team. And when he's not, or when I'm like, okay, he's done, then I'll bring Jordan Love in if he's still on the roster. That's what I would do.
And the
I
reason
can't
why
play
I
Aaron Rodgers.
and the reason why I disagree, and as a Philly fan, this is why the Philadelphia has their issues too. Like if you're waiting until after Aaron Rodgers is washed to look towards the future, you could be wasting anywhere from 2 to 10 years doing that plan. Because one, you're not going to start the search for a quarterback until either you're not able to get any assets for Aaron Rodgers because no one's going to trade for a player that's washed, or B, he retires, which at that point you're in the Saints dilemma, right? Granted, they had Jameis on the roster. They were thinking towards the future. Even though Jameis was on the roster, even though Taysom Hill was on the roster, it was still Drew Brees' team until he retired. The Packers not doing anything in the quarterback room as Aaron Rodgers approaches 40 is general management malpractice. It's the
What's your
worst thing you can do.
but what you're not getting about this situation is you're not wasting seasons. You have opportunities to win Super Bowls. You
Now I'm not
Aaron
talking
Rodgers
about the
is
next 2, 3, 4 seasons. I'm
that's
talking about after that.
whoa. See, I don't understand what people don't understand about this. 1 or 2 Super Bowls is enough for me as a franchise because only one team wins a year. If I gotta waste the next 8, I waste the next 8. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna win the Super Bowl with Jordan Love in 8 years anyway. But I could win 2 these next 2 years. You
What?
get you
This
get
is
bro.
blasphemy.
No, this is real. You get when you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl with the team, you ride that team and try to win as many as you can. They got an opportunity every year to win the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Every year. You don't just trade on that and move Jordan Love in because then at that point you no longer have that opportunity. He's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, and you needed Aaron Rodgers to come in and do that. That's like teams that pass up on superstar players because they have hope, or superstar aging players because we have hope that our young players are going to come up and win X, Y, and Z. Well, no, you know this player right here you can grab and he can win you games and possibly win you championships. But you want to pass on that because you believe, okay, in 3 years he might not be that good. When you can take him now and win 2, 3 Super Bowls or 2, 3 championships with him, you want to ride this person, this young core, this young Jordan Love. And what do you hope? What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is for Jordan Love to get in there and do what? Win a Super Bowl. That's the goal. For him to get in there and win the bowl. Why not keep the guy that you know gives you the better shot right now to win championships? You're hoping that Jordan Love can be half of what Aaron Rodgers is. Why not just keep Aaron Rodgers for a while?
Because Aaron Rodgers is not going to play the next 15 seasons. It's not Brian Gutekunst's. It's not his job to make sure that the Packers are only good for 2 years, 3 years. He's the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, who have been an NFL franchise for over 100 years. It's not just about these 2 seasons. He has to think about the future. He has to think about the salary cap and who he's going to pay on the offensive line in the at the running back position.
Can I ask you a quick question before we transition?
Go ahead.
Can I ask you a quick? You're the GM of the LA Lakers. You just saw the injury, just like I just saw the injury. The man LeBron messed up his abs, his abdominal, right? You see a young cat like Ja Morant, and you don't have Russell Westbrook, but you got a team that you feel like can compete right now for championships, right? And the Grizz offer you a trade right now. We'll give you Ja for Bron. Would you take that trade?
No, because
Why not?
Because LeBron, one, it's a different sport, and one player can significantly impact the entire outcome of your season. And two, Ja Morant is nowhere even like Ja Morant hasn't even touched his ceiling. But why would I trade for Ja Morant? And I have LeBron James on my team, who was arguably the greatest player to ever play the game.
You're literally making my point. Why would I bring Jordan Love in when I have a guy that's one of the greatest to ever play the game that can win me championships right now?
AJ, how many Super Bowls has Aaron Rodgers been to?
I think he's only been to one, and that's fair.
How many Super Bowls has he won?
He's won one. That's a
and that was in 2010. So what you're essentially saying is you've been holding out this hope Aaron Rodgers is going to win the Super Bowl for going on 12 years. Going on 12 years, and now he's entering almost his 40s, and you're not going to look to the future because you're still going to hold out this hope?
Well, you act as if everybody goes out there and wins Super Bowls. There's no guarantee that Jordan Love's ever going to appear in one or ever win one. You have a better chance right now. You have a better chance right now of winning a championship the next 2-3 years with the guy who just won MVP of the league, bro. You have they were a couple plays away, and yes, I know they are a couple plays away a lot, but bro, you were that close to getting back to the bowl, and we're
what? And we're gonna move on, but this is the last thing I'll say. By that logic, then every NFL player should only sign a 2-year deal. That's how we'll do it. We'll only sign players for 2 years because as a general manager, by your logic, that's the only time frame that they're thinking about. The next 2 years, the next 3 years, because these are the players that they have. And that's fine. If that's the strategy, that's cool. You'll be like the Rams. You get all these players, and then all of a sudden, when they're all retired or they're off their contracts, you'll have nobody.
In the process, though, the Rams 7-1 and might just win a couple Super Bowls. And me, I'd rather trade in that time and try to get them bowls and rebuild when it's time for me to rebuild. At least I got them Super Bowls in the process. But by trading away those players and not getting those players, guess what? You're not going to have a chance to do. Compete for championships at all. You're going to be trying to build up a roster for 10 years to maybe get as close as you would with the same roster you just got rid of.
The roster, and we can move on, but the roster is built in Green Bay. Like the quarterback position, if you change quarterbacks, like I said, and this is all.
He gonna get in there and win the bowl. This is my last question. He gonna get in there and win the bowl.
Who, Jordan
Jordan Love?
Love?
Yes.
Not today. But the hopes is Aaron Rodgers gonna win a bowl? We ain't seen him in a bowl game. We haven't seen him in the
He
Super Bowl in
might.
12 years.
You just said they was gonna win the Super Bowl, didn't you?
I did say that because the team around Aaron Rodgers this year is really good.
The
I
fir-
mentioned the
the,
defense. I mentioned the running game.
we going way over this, but we going way over time. But I gotta get this out. The first thing you said was they got that boy Aaron Rodgers. He's still there. You didn't bring up Devontae and that thing. You said they got that boy Aaron Rodgers. He's still there. Because you know they need Aaron Rodgers to win.
So I didn't say that the Packers had a defense.
After you brought up the fact that they still have the reigning league MVP. That's what I'm getting at. You brought up what was most important first, because without him, it's not happening.
Because Aaron, I'm not arguing that the Packers do not have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl right now with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm not arguing that. I'm agreeing with that. My thing is, as the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, it is your job to not just look at the Packers for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years. At some point, you have to think about life after Aaron Rodgers. And at what point do you make that decision? It has to be at some point.
Bridge Gap fans, we gonna move on. Because me and KC will never see eye to eye on this. But I'll tell you something that I hope we'll see eye to eye on. I'll tell you something that I KC, I hope, because if you don't see eye to eye with me, we gonna have some issues today. We're gonna have some issues today. This Odell Beckham situation with the Cleveland Browns. And Casey, I want to start with this because I got some stuff I really want to get off my chest. And that is this situation right here is blowing my wig. First off, let me say this about Odell. Odell gets a bad rap. He gets a bad rap. At the end of the day, the man gets a bad rap. When he was playing for the Giants, did he have moments where, yes, he acted a bit immature. Yes, he acted a bit prima donna. Yes, he was a bit diva-like. Yes, he was. And I'll admit he was. But Odell's a different person, and we've seen this now for playing for the Cleveland Browns. He's a different person. Since he's arrived in Cleveland, he's been a different person, no matter what's been happening, no matter what's been going on. We look at Baker Mayfield as a fan base. We look at Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. We look at Baker Mayfield, and we know he's not as elite as some people think. We know he struggles to be accurate from the pocket. We know he struggles to be accurate throwing the ball downfield. We know without that running game and without those receiving options on the outside, Baker Mayfield is not the quarterback everybody thinks he is. He's not the quarterback that's going to lead you to a Super Bowl. He's probably not the quarterback that's going to lead you to a playoffs. We know this. We understand this already. Odell hasn't said anything. He hasn't had much to say. He hasn't done anything. Been frustrated for a while. Hasn't said anything until now. And the thing that bothers me, the thing that makes me most irritated about this situation is people act like these aren't professional football players. People act like these aren't professional head coaches, professional offensive coordinators. People act like they don't know the game of football and what it entails. Football is a high contact sport. You can go out there, you can tear ACL, you can break a knee, you can get a concussion. Anything can happen. You can have CTE after you're done playing the sport. It's one of the most volatile sports there is right now. It's one of the most. It's one of the ugliest sports. These players that go out there, they put it all on the line. And to see a guy like Odell, who's the best offensive option on his team, don't give me Nick Chubb, don't give me Kareem Hunt, don't give me Hooper Hopper, don't give me none of the best offensive weapon on the team. To see this man run free every game, wide open, but yet the man is getting targeted 2 times a game, 3 times a game, like he's not one of the best receivers in football. What NFL player you know on any team is going to be happy under that circumstance, knowing that their talent is great, knowing that they're a great football player, but for some reason, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, the quarterback, they don't want to use my skill set. And it's one thing if we're winning, we're losing. We're vastly underperforming. I could be a difference maker on this roster. I know it. The people I'm playing against know it. The coaches know it. The quarterbacks, the whole NFL, they know who I am. They, like KD said, you know who I am. We know who Odell is. We know how much of a difference maker he is. Anybody that's in competitive sports that isn't being utilized the correct way, especially somebody of his stature, somebody that great, is going to be upset. It should be a problem. We would think it's a problem with him right now if he weren't upset. And what did I say, Casey? What did I say on the last episode? I said, KC, we starting to see that Giants Odell come out just a little bit because he's frustrated. He's irritated. He's mad. He don't like how this is going right now, right? And I said that last week. And what happened? The same thing this following week. Before they played the Chargers, they put up like 44 points. Odell was targeted 2-3 times the whole game. Again, this is your best offensive weapon. How long you expect the man to stay quiet? How long? How long? He's out there risking it all. Not only that, he fresh off injury. You know he itching to play. You know he itching to be a difference maker. You know he's itching to be a star like we know he is. And the man running what? Again, I went to the Vikings game. I saw how open he was on every play. I saw how many times Baker Mayfield missed him. Any human being under the same circumstances that is as great as him is going to be irritated with that. They're going to be frustrated with that. Especially fresh off injury, especially trying to prove I'm still one of the best. When people bring up the top 5 receivers in football, they don't even talk about Odell no more. And he knows he's still top 5. He probably still feel like he the best. But I'm playing for a team and an organization that don't want to give me the football while we taking L's. And then you want to get upset, Browns organization, head coach, Baker Mayfield. You want to get upset because Odell dad came out and said something? So let me ask you a question. Did Odell say something to you before? All of these games, this man been getting targeted 2 times and losing. You don't think Odell went to Baker and said, hey, bro, what's going on? Well, I'm not touching the football. You don't think him and coach yo, I'm a playmaker, man. You know, give me the football. Calmly, like, yo, can we just a little bit? I ain't trying to be like that, man, but y'all know who I am. Give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? You don't think he tried that? You don't think he tried handling this situation as mature as he could in the process of taking L's to teams they shouldn't be taking L's to in the process of underachieving? You don't think he said that? So now, seeing as though that didn't work, y'all still not targeting him, not including him in the offense. You mad because his dad come out. Then people in the media talking like he shouldn't have let his dad come out. He shouldn't have let his dad come out and say something. I wish I would tell my dad he can't do something. I wish I would tell my pops, my mom, even my girl, no, you can't do that. What? They're grown. They're their own human beings, for goodness sake. This is the person that raised Odell. But at the end of the day, somebody had to say it. I'm glad it's getting the attention now. And then you want to boot him out of practice because you got an issue. Instead of addressing it like grown men. Yeah, I'm getting spicy. Instead of addressing it like grown men and pulling Baker to the locker room or pulling him into the office and pulling Odell into the office and saying, let's sit down and let's figure this out. You want to excuse him for practice because now you're going to push the narrative that he's being a cancer. No, we losing and you're not utilizing your best offensive piece. You had the opportunity to move him at the trade deadline. You didn't. Why? You have an opportunity to cut him, let him go. You haven't. Why? I'm confused. What is it? What's the plan? I know they're working through that right now. And Casey, I'll let you tag on this in a minute because I know I've been going for a while. But what's the plan? You had an opportunity to get rid of this man. You know this was an issue for a while now. You got an opportunity to cut him, yet you sending him home for practice, trying to think of a plan. Well, obviously, y'all was winning without him last year, right? Y'all only targeting him 2 times a game, right? All of that is happening. Y'all clearly don't think he worth anything, right? What's wrong with just cutting him? No, you want to trade him for assets because you know he's Odell Beckham Jr. and you could get something for him. This is what I want to happen, and I'll let you go. I want them to cut Odell today. I know it's not going to happen, but cut him today. And you know what I want Odell to do? I want him to stroll right all over there. We know he could dance, do a little hop, skip, little 2-step right over there to Baltimore. Go play with Lamar Jackson in that offense and dominate the division. That's what I want to happen. Show the Browns what it is they're missing. Let them continue to underperform. and then we'll really see who's the issue in Cleveland. Casey, you have the floor.
Hey Jay, I was with you into that last part, bro.
I figured you would be.
Yeah, I was with you into that last part. Um, I'll get to that in a second. Odell, I will say this: Odell has been, he's been good. He's been good this time. Excuse me. I know a lot of people when he was in New York, they had a problem with his divish lifestyle, but he's came to Cleveland and just been quiet, hooped. He hasn't said nothing. So if you're a Browns fan, you can't now ostracize him now because the coach isn't using him properly because Baker can't hit him. Y'all have to look internally and see who's the real problem. And it's looking like it's Baker Mayfield. I don't know what it is because we saw Baker 2 years ago. We saw him last year look completely different. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it's a rhythm thing with Odell, but it clearly just isn't working. And the saying how like somebody is too big for a certain thing, like too big for a city, too big for whatever. Odell is too big for Cleveland. Just like LeBron was too big for Cleveland, Odell is too big for Cleveland. I'm sorry to say it, Cleveland fans. Like, it's just the truth. Odell in that New York media market was a superstar. Even though he was on bad teams, you knew what it was with Odell.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I forget Odell's even on like playing football.
That's
Like
ridiculous.
and this is Odell Beckham Jr. We're talking. Personally, as a Packer fan, I wanted them to trade over a second, third, fourth. I don't care, whatever pick to bring him in there and play alongside of Devontae Adams. But it didn't happen. And for what reason? Like you mentioned, I don't know. The Browns organization, for some reason, weren't able to find a trade for him, which is once again general management malpractice. GM. That's what that is. Like, if you don't let a talent like Odell just walk out the door for free. Like, and if no one wanted that salary, which I have a hard time believing there's not one team that was willing to take on Odell, maybe they have a wink deal with him, but it doesn't sound like it from the way things are playing out. But there's no way you just let him walk, and not even just walk. Like, it sounds like they're probably going to pay out some of the salary that they owe him too. So I'm not understanding from the Brown side what they're doing in this situation. And then
It don't
lastly,
make. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and then lastly, the whole Baltimore situation, that sounds like a nightmare. That sounds like a nightmare.
I'm gonna explain why Baltimore in a minute. But literally, the Browns aren't doing anything that makes sense right now. It doesn't make sense. You would think that if you thought this way about him before, you would trade him right before the deadline. You would get him out of there, but you don't trade him for whatever reason. You don't trade him. You keep him on the roster. You allow him to come to practice after this video surface. Then you send him home 2 days in a row. Now we trying to think about now I'm working. Now the Browns are working with Odell's management to figure out how we gonna get rid of him. Well, you just had an opportunity to get rid of him for something of value before the trade deadline. You chose not to. So what are you holding on to him for? You're not using him. So what's the point of him being there? It don't make sense to not use him. Make him basically devalue his worth, pretty much. Basically, like he's not good enough for us to use it in our offense, even though we're 4-4. He's not good enough for us to use him in the offense. But at the same time, he'd be great in anybody else's offense. So we probably want, we want a couple picks. So we want this player, a couple stars. You're not making sense. It don't make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And then, like I said, you upset because, and I said this on Instagram the other day, you're upset because his father, and we don't know who put it. Everybody's like, we think Odell put it together. We think his dad put it together. You know who I think did it? I think a fan did it. It looks like the work of a fan. It looks like one of those, I think it's called Huddle, one of those videos that people put together like their high school highlight tape. I don't know if you've seen the video, but it looks like a high school highlight tape where they like highlight the players that they're, when highlighting me to get scouted or whatever. It looks like one of those where they highlight Baker, they highlight Odell, and they show how open Odell is. Baker looking dead at him and either running out of the pocket or throwing it to someone else. And it's like that it's been like that ever since he gets back. And the part that throws me, bro, is you're a quarterback. You're an offensive coordinator, a head coach. When you go look at the film after the game, you don't see that. When you go look at the film before the game, you don't see that. When you look at the film after every possession in the game, you don't see that. You see it, you just don't care. It's some personal stuff going on, and then you want to get mad at Odell because now his dad said something, or now he want to act out a little bit. What did you expect? What did you expect? It's mind boggling. It is mind boggling to me. If this was happening to Devontae Adams, he might not. His dad might not say something, but you got to deal with Devontae Adams. If this happened to T.O., you got to deal with T.O. If this happened to Moss, you got to deal with Moss. If this happened to D Hop or any Cole receiver, Tariq Hill, you got to deal with these guys because they know that their talent is surreal. They know that their talent is through the roof. Why not use it? And if you're not going to use it, send me somewhere where it's going to be used. And quickly, last thing, Baltimore. The reason why I say Baltimore is because it'll be in the same division, so Odell's going to be hungry. And again, I've said this about Lamar, and I'll say it again. Underrated passer, bro. He's an underrated passer. I understand that they're a run-heavy offense, but that's because they don't have a lot of freaking options at receiver. Hollywood Brown is a good receiver. He ain't no damn Odell. He ain't no damn D Hop. He ain't no Devontae Adams. He's not that guy. Andrews is nice. He got game. I'll give you that. Andrews probably second or third best tight end in football. But you don't have no real outside threat that's dipping in between, you know what I'm saying, hitting you with the slants and the ends and the outs. You got a deep field threat, but Hollywood ain't catching them passes over the middle. You need some, and Odell will be the number one option. And I don't want him to go to Green Bay, even though it would be nice to see him with Aaron Rodgers. I don't want him to be the Green Bay. I don't want him to go to Green Bay because he'll be the number two. I don't want him to go to Arizona because he'll be the number two. Odell is a superstar talent that at this level, I want him to go somewhere where he can win and be the number one option to pass the football to on a team so that we can see his legacy become what it's supposed to be. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see him not catching passes because the ball's going to Devontae Adams. I don't want to see him not receiving the ball because the ball's going to D Hop. We dealt with a lot of these issues, not meaning like another receiver was getting the ball, but we dealt with a lot of issues with Odell. You're dealing with issues now with Baker. I want you to go somewhere where you're the number one. You're the Devontae Adams. You're the D Hop. You're the number one. Let's go show out for a team that's going to win some football games. And Lamar, whether people want to believe it or admit it or not, Lamar going to get you the football. He going to get you the ball. And you're going to have an opportunity because the run game going to open up because you got Lamar, you got the run game, and everybody's going to stack the box to stop Lamar, and you got one-on-one coverage for Odell every game. And that's money. That's money.
You're not, you don't.
If you Odell, you go team up with that young bull. He got at least a 10 years in him probably at this level. You go team up with that boy. He gonna extend your career. That's what I'm telling you, bro. That's the move I will make. I'm going somewhere where I'm number one. I can show the league I'm still that dude. I'm still that dude, and people need to recognize I'm still that dude.
That was
because there's been a lot of disrespect for Odell over the years, bro. And even if he don't go to the Raiders, that's better. Go to the Raiders with Derek Carr. They winning football games. Their defense is playing very well. What? Derek Carr get you the football. They just lost Henry Ruggs, which we'll talk about shortly in a little bit. Go somewhere like that where you the number one. He would succeed in that offense as much as they throw the football and Derek Carr playing out of his mind. He would succeed there too. You don't need to go somewhere where you the number two. You just tried that with Juice. It didn't work. It didn't work. Sorry. It didn't work.
See, I completely 100% disagree because I think that right now, are we sure Odell is the number one right now?
Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's only a serious question because he's got injury issues and he's dealing with Baker Mayfield. That's why it's a question. Are we sure? Hell yeah, I'm sure he a number one. Are you crazy?
Why wasn't he the number one in Cleveland?
What was that?
Why wasn't he the number one in Cleveland then?
Because Juice was the dude that they drafted, and you got Baker Mayfield throwing the ball. Juice is the guy there. He was the guy when Odell got there, and we knew that. So even though Odell had a 1,000-yard season the first year he got there.
So hold on. So if the reason why is because Juice was the guy they drafted, you telling me Hollywood Brown wouldn't be number one still in
Because
Baltimore?
Hollywood Brown ain't Juice. Hollywood Brown's not Juice. He's not Juice.
I mean, is he not? Like the
He's
numbers
not
are
Juice.
similar. I don't know.
And
You
they love
telling me
him
if he
out
go?
there.
You
They
telling me if
love
he
him out.
go?
They love Juice. Like that situation a little bit. Like they love Juice out there in Cleveland. And I
Okay,
get it because Juice is
but
nice.
whose fault
But
is
like
that? First of all, I don't think Odell. Let's not act like Jarvis Landry and Odell weren't teammates in college. Like they've
that's
been
fair.
1-2. Like
That's
so,
fair.
I can't necessarily give you that. But also, if we talking about the Raiders, so Darren Waller is not still going to be the number one target.
He's the tight end though. He's
It
not the
doesn't
number
matter.
one
He'll still
outside
be the
threat.
number
Yes,
one
it does.
target.
Yes, it
Jimmy Graham
does.
wasn't the number one target in New Orleans when he was in his prime.
I'm saying the number one target on the outside. I'm not talking about if you add in tight ends. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
So
the
you're
number
talking
one
about just the
option on the
number one
outside.
receiver.
Number one receiver. That's what
And
I'm
see,
talking about.
okay. So that's what I was wondering. So that's the problem. I don't want Odell being the number one receiver. One, because I personally I don't know if he's the number one receiver right
This is
now.
blasphemy.
But two, if you're Odell, why would you want to go somewhere and be the number one receiver? If Odell is going to a team and he's the number one receiver, either A, that team is probably garbage, or B, they don't have a good quarterback. Or and clearly not a good offensive situation because they're using Odell as an infusion of talent on that offense. But if you went to somewhere like Green Bay and Devontae Adams is sitting there demanding a double team every time, so you have to pull the safety to the other side, are you out of your mind? And Odell actually gets single coverage on the outside, or that safety help is cheating to the other side, and you're able to be effective? No, like I definitely think that's a much better situation at this point in Odell's career. I don't want to see Odell go out there and be the number one wide receiver for a garbage team or a team even like Baltimore. Like their bread and butter is allowing Lamar Jackson to make plays from the pocket, whether that's with his feet or whether that's throwing to the open man. But we see in the playoffs every year when that pressure comes and the defenses are better, Lamar can't make the throws. So are you just going to go into another situation where you're unhappy?
Number one, name it. Give me a quarterback right now that's at the top. Give me top 5 or like top 8 quarterbacks that don't have elite receivers to throw the football to. Give me one.
That don't have elite, multiple receivers?
Don't have at least one elite. Don't have at least one elite outside threat. Give me one. I beg of you.
What are you? I'm not understanding
what I'm telling you is we get on Lamar about throwing the football, and once he plays this kind of defense in the playoffs, he shrivels up. He don't have no options to throw the football to on the outside, bro. Julio Brown is a good or not Julio Brown. Hollywood Brown is a good receiver. He's not Devontae Adams, bro. He's not D-Hop. He's not these guys. When you look at the top, Aaron Rodgers, Stafford even got Cooper Kupp. Who else are we talking about? Tom Brady got an embarrassment of riches. Breeze, when he was playing, he had Mike Thomas. Like the best guy, Russell Wilson, he got DK and Tyler Lockett. The guys that are at the top, they got Pro Bowl caliber receivers to throw the football to. Lamar does not have that. I refuse to judge the man throwing the football until I see him with an elite passing threat. Because there's a lot of quarterbacks that don't look great if they don't have no outside threat to throw the football to. It's a lot of them that don't look that good. And then you give them a Pro Bowl caliber receiver and they look like Tom Brady. They look like the second coming of Joe Montana. Like, no.
But are we sure is that a Hollywood Brown?
Two, I refuse to let you get away with the disrespect. That is to say, Odell, you not sure if Odell is a number one. Where did the drop off come?
In New York?
If Hollywood is a number one, Odell is a number one. If Michael Pittman is a number one, Odell's a number one. Odell's easily still a top 10 receiver in football. Easily. The problem is if you watch them, the man does not get the football. There is some underlying issues going on with him and Baker. He don't get the ball. If you watch the 11-minute clip, bro, Odell should be averaging 100 yards a game. The man's still getting wide open. I'm talking about 10, 15 yards is the nearest defender. Odell is still that dude. The man ain't lost a step. He's still that dude. And you talk about at this point in his career, he's 28. We're talking about the man like he's 36. He's 28, bro.
It's football years.
Bro, he's 28. Julio Jones is still Julio Jones later in his career. It's a lot of receivers that still it's a lot of receivers that still themselves later on in their career. And this ain't even that late. He's 28, bro. He's still young. He's still got at least 3-4 years of elite football, if not 5, of elite football left to play, bro. He's still that dude. And that's what I'm saying. He could easily be a number one on a lot of different teams, bro. And he could be a number one on a lot of contending teams. But to sit up here and act like you don't see how Baker is not getting him the ball, and when he does, he's missing him. Like, I mean, Baker running wide open and he throwing it behind him. Bro,
You,
I know bro, literally there was a play in the Vikings game where he did a double move. The Vikings were playing his zone. He did a double move on Harrison. Forget his first name, just that quick. Did a double move on Harrison, cut up field. He is streaking nobody within 10 yards of this man. And Baker throws a bullet at his legs, bro. By the time he turned around, the ball was at his feet. This happens every game. And this is why I said I want Odell to be number one again. Because it is clear now the blasphemy that you spew. It is clear he has to still prove he's that dude. And in order for him to save his legacy and be what we all know he can be, because I don't think you doubt that he can potentially be that again. In order for him to do that, he got to be number one. He got to be the main target on the outside in the offense. He has to be, bro. Otherwise, you go play with Vontae Adams. Yeah, you gonna do your thing, but it's not gonna be 1,200 yards, 1,300 yards, 7-8 touchdowns, Odell. It's gonna be you got 5 touchdowns. You might scratch 1,000. You might scratch 1,000 yards playing in that offense. Probably not gonna happen. Playing alongside Devontae is probably not gonna happen, and nobody's ever gonna consider you top 5 playing alongside Devontae Adams. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
that's where I disagree. I mean, I just think that I should have reframed my question. Or my point. I should have said, do we know if Odell's a number one receiver on a contending team? Because if you look at the contending teams, like you mentioned, there are already number ones on this game. Sometimes even number 2s and number 3s, depending on the team.
Is he better than Michael Pittman?
Is Odell better than Michael Pittman right now? I don't know. The numbers tell me Michael Pittman are better. So what?
But you also watch football, bro.
I do.
And Michael Pittman, a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
Number one.
Is Cooper Kupp better than Devontae Adams? Oh my! We're moving on. We're moving on.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Devontae Adams is the top 3 receiver in the game.
It's clear that the cap is on, and I'm gonna leave it there, bro. Because that's oh my god. We're gonna move on, KC. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you get your stuff on. We're gonna take a quick little intermission from NFL because KC did want to quickly touch on this. I didn't have much to say about it, KC, but I know you want to talk about it, and that is the college football rankings. We were supposed to make this the first topic, but I was trying to get to the NFL. That's on me, y'all. That's on me. But I want KC to get his stuff off. KC, how you feel about the college football rankings, man? I heard you got a lot to say.
Yeah, my frustration with the college football rankings is clear. Like we come to November every year. We get to that first November or whatever when they do the first rankings, and we talk about who's the best 4 teams in the league, right? Like, or in college football, who are the 4 teams that if the season ended today, right, would be into the college football playoffs. And every year we have the exact same conversation around the structure of this playoffs. Like, I am sick and tired of having this conversation every single year. You look at the top 25, you have Georgia at 1, you have Alabama at 2, you have Michigan State at 3, you have Oregon at 4, right? So because of that, you have Ohio State sitting outside at 5, Cincinnati at 6, Michigan at 7, and then Oklahoma at 8. The problem I have with this is this SEC bias. The fact that Alabama is sitting at number 2 and they lost to a Texas A&M team. I don't care that Texas A&M is in the top 15. I don't care that Texas A&M is in the SEC. At the end of the day, Alabama has a loss. Michigan State is undefeated. Cincinnati is undefeated. Oklahoma is undefeated. Yet somehow you have a 1-loss Alabama team sitting here At number 2, essentially what the committee is saying is Alabama controls their own destiny. Now, if you're the rest of college football, you are essentially playing for two spots. You got 120 plus college football teams playing for two spots in the college football playoffs because Georgia is at 1 and Alabama is at 2. Georgia and Alabama wouldn't play each other until possibly the SEC championship game, which means if Alabama wins that game in the SEC championship game against Georgia, then both Georgia and Alabama will get into the playoffs. And you might have a Power 5 team that is undefeated that misses the playoff, which if that happens and if that's the case, I would completely be done with college football in this system. Like, I'm so sick and tired of having this conversation. Oklahoma, how are you in the Big 12, undefeated, and you're the 8th team in the country? Like, are you serious? You think Michigan is better than undefeated Oklahoma team? Who is Michigan beat? I know who they lost to. They lost to Michigan State. And last thing I'll say on this, and then we can move on, is the committee thinks they're slick. I mentioned Alabama having the one loss against Texas A&M. There's no coincidence that they put a 2-loss Texas A&M team in the top 15 in the rankings. There's no coincidence that Auburn, who they'll play before the SEC championship game in the Iron Bowl, is the highest ranked SEC team, or I'm sorry, the highest ranked 2-loss team in the playoffs at 13. Essentially what the committee is doing is justifying the one loss to Texas A&M if you're Alabama, and possibly giving Alabama the opportunity to have 2 top 10 wins the last 2 games of the season to justify them being in the playoffs. And for that reason, I'm completely sick and I'm tired of the college football rankings. I've been saying it before and I'll continue to say it. They need to expand it to 12 teams, 6 of the conference championships, 6 at-large bids. Give people the opportunity to show. I don't care if Alabama runs Cincinnati out the building in the first round, or I don't care. Like, I just want there to be a fair and equal way for teams to be able to compete for the college football playoffs, because right now having 120 plus teams play for 2 spots and you already are penciling in 2 is blasphemy, and I'm sick of it.
To be honest, like, this is why I've always struggled to get into college football. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, this is why. Number one, I feel like college football is full of offense, and I'm a defense lover. I love seeing teams get shut down. That's number one. But number two, you always see the same couple teams at the top, and Alabama's always right there. To their credit, they always seem to win. Nick Saban always seems to get it done, or is at least in a championship. But you got this one-loss team in there over teams that are undefeated. Don't make sense to me, and that's why it's like it's hard for me to really get into college football. On the flip side, though, I did like the fact that them Gophers are at 20. Shout outs to them. Rowed a boat in this mug. Shout out to the Gophers for being number 20 because they showed out. They took an ugly L to Bowling Green earlier in the season. Homecoming weekend at that. It was ugly, KC. I was at that game. But outside of that, it's a struggle for me, man, because we see the same teams every year. And I don't know if it's possible, and this might just be me looking from the outside or looking from the outside. But if there is a way to run it similar to what you said or similar to how they run it in college basketball, where, you might see a lot of the same couple teams, but it's a lot of teams that have a shot at getting to the Final Four, a lot of teams that have a shot at getting to that championship round. It has to be a more efficient way to do this. Because every year you can hedge your bets. Alabama they might have 2 losses. The committee might still say it's Alabama. We're gonna sneak out Alabama in there. So it's
and that's my problem. And that's my problem with this whole system. It's flawed. I think they need to definitely take a look at this because I'm just sick and tired of having this conversation every year.
I definitely feel you on that. Quick transition, KC. We got some big news coming out of the Rams camp. They just picked up that boy Von Miller. My goodness, KC, what's your quick thoughts on this?
Man, Von Miller to the Rams, that's huge. For the Rams, I mentioned it earlier. Like, the Rams, if I mentioned the Packers are going to the Super Bowl earlier this year. I think the Rams, and you've been on the Rams since the start of the season, before the season actually, this is an important piece for them. I think this will get them possibly to an NFC Championship game, maybe a Super Bowl. But I look at Von Miller joining this team. that already has Aaron Donald on that defensive line, and that has Jalen Ramsey and a solid defense. And then you look at the offense, like the Rams were already stacked on the offense side of the ball. You mentioned Cooper Kupp, who, I mean, I don't know if he's better than Devontae Adams, but Cooper Kupp is a
He a
beast.
beast
I,
though. He a
I
beast
I don't
though.
know what it is, but that connection between him and Stafford is unstoppable. You
Mm-hmm.
still have Robert Woods there. You have the young kid, I can't think of his name, the rookie Van Jefferson
Mm.
that they got, who's a beast too. You have a Darrell Henderson back there running the ball who seems to get it done, and Stafford is clearly, and you mentioned it, I got to give you props for that, light years better than Jared Goff in that offense, and you have McVay calling the plays. Von Miller just makes the defense so much better. And if you're a Ram fan, you're very happy at this trade.
This is what I like, Casey. This is the essence of what I like right here. Okay, you make a prediction, right? I say the Rams gonna win the division. They might end up in an NFC championship game. They maybe go to the bowl. Who knows, right? I threw it out there, but I said for sure I think they'll win the division, right? The Cardinals come out, they steamrolling everybody. They steamrolling, they undefeated, right? They undefeated, right? You look up the Rams, then lost a game. You like, man, they ain't nothing. Cause the Cardinals, they undefeated, they balling, they killing, right? Then they go out there and lose the Packers at home without Vontae Adams, without Lazard, without half of their offense. And you like, dang, they lost a game. And then you look at the standings and you like, wait a minute. The Rams only lost one, too. They balling too. It's flying under the
Who did the
radar.
Rams lose to?
Nobody was the Rams lost to the Cardinals.
I know.
But hey, look, it is what it is. Hey, at the end of the day, it's flying under the radar. Nobody's talking about it because they lost to the Cardinals. Nobody's talking about it because the Cardinals have been hot. But lo and behold, you see the Cardinals again at some point in this season, and you got the same record. Now you add Von Miller to that defensive line to pair alongside with Aaron Donald, and you still got Ramsey, the best cornerback in the game on the outside. Listen, I'll say it one last time for the BTG Airways. The Rams are for real. And that boy Stafford, like you said, that connection with Cooper Kupp, he also got one with Robert Woods. I'm telling you, these boys are they for real. And me personally, you can call me, you could bring up the Cowboys all you want. Me personally, I think they might be the team in the NFC to beat. I think they might be the team to beat, especially after this edition. I I I just don't know. I mean, you can say the Cowboys they done won like 7, 8 games straight. I get it, but I'm just saying the Rams look damn good. They look damn good, and with the Packers losing Aaron Rodgers for a little bit now, who knows what Jordan Love got? With the Cardinals just losing, Dallas. Dak is hurt. Don't know if he'll be back. I think he'll be back this upcoming week, but who knows? All I'm saying is I'm liking the Rams. I'm liking the Rams. But to
Yeah,
close
I
us out,
mean,
oh my bad. Go ahead, Casey.
no,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say. I mean, I don't know about all that. I mean, if you look at the teams that they've played so far, I'll just throw out a couple stinkers: Bears, Colts. You mentioned the Seahawks are so right. Giants, Lions, Texans. Like those are the quality wins they've had over the first 8 weeks. We'll see on the back half when they got to play the Titans, the Packers, the Cardinals again, the Seahawks again, the Vikings, the Ravens, the Niners. We'll see if they really are that team, because they've been beating up on these diddlies.
Well, what I will say is they're getting a whole lot of momentum to go playing, man. Adding Von Miller is gonna help a lot.
No, he helps. This team is the Rams are definitely a top three. I would say top three, top four team in the NFC right now. No,
Yeah,
no question.
for sure. Last thing we want to quickly touch on because this did happen, KC. We want to save this for last because it's not a topic that we wanted to say too much about. But the Henry Ruggs situation is an ugly one. We just want to, me personally, and I'll let Casey go. Your thoughts and your prayers go out to um, the family of the woman who lost her life. I think she was only 23. The dog passed away in the accident. Uh, Henry Ruggs, I personally won't go into detail about how fast he was going and what happened and all of that stuff. What I will say is I encourage everybody that watches Bridge the Gap everybody who listens to Bridge the Gap, everybody that follows me, follows KC, all our friends, all the people who don't know us, don't drink and drive, bro. Just don't drink and drive, bro. Henry Ruggs just threw away everything, bro. He was just doing the little dunk with my boy Vontae Smith. Now you in jail, probably going to prison. I don't want to speculate, but it doesn't look good. And you just took a life. So
Yeah.
you gotta be smarter than that. I know he's young. You make mistakes. It's a big one. This was a big one that you may or may not be able to recover from. But I just want this to be a lesson for everyone. Don't think it can't happen to you because it can, bro. It can happen to you, bro. Like nobody is invincible out here. You never know what could happen. So just we encourage everybody to be smart. Of course, have fun, but just be smart about it. You know what I mean? And that's really all I have to say. Again, thoughts and prayers go out to both of their families because Henry just lost everything. And if he had the fam on payroll, and the,
Yeah.
and the lady just lost her life, and the dog's gone, and I know the family is mourning that, and I know they're not gonna get the attention that they need because a pro NFL player just caused this accident. So of course everybody's gonna talk about Henry before they talk about the life that was lost, which sucks. But kind of like when Kobe passed away, everybody was talking about Kobe. Not a lot of people brought up the other 8, 9 lives that was lost. You know what I mean? So it's like you hate that that's the situation. So my thoughts and prayers go out to them and their family, but also to Henry Ruggs, man. Hopefully you learn and you get out of this and you become a changed man after this situation. Everybody makes mistakes, but
Yeah.
thoughts and prayers go out, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. Extremely sad situation. Um, you never want to see stuff like this happen. If I mean Henry Ruggs, just looking at it like you said, don't drink and drive. Like it's not worth it. Um, you're a millionaire. Like you can Uber. Um, you don't have to get behind the wheel. Like you said, I don't want to get into too much of the details. You can find it online if you haven't read it. But just sad, just completely sad situations and like you said, for both sides. There was a life lost, which is you never want to see that. And then Henry Ruggs situation, like you said, everything lost, like in a matter of seconds.
Mhm.
It's one of them situations where when you read it, you just think it's not even real. Like it's one of them things where you don't think about it. It happens every day, right? We hear these cases, DUIs, we hear these cases when someone's drinking and driving or someone's hit drunk or whatnot. Like we hear these cases, but like we don't dissect it because it's not usually someone of this stature in these situations. So to see this magnified and highlighted, and I don't want it to see like it's a bash on Henry Ruggs situation. Like everybody makes mistakes. He's a kid,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't say a kid, but he's young. He's a young man.
Yeah.
And he's out in Vegas where people party. I'm
Mhm.
sure a lot of people have made a lot of mistakes in Vegas.
A lot
It's
of
just
them.
exactly. So it's just an unfortunate situation that happened, a sad situation that happened. And I really do, thoughts and prayers go out to both families. And like, yeah, just let it be a lesson to everybody out there. Just be careful, because you never know. And life is too short. Life is way too short. Don't you shouldn't don't play with it. So, like you said, thoughts and prayers go out to the families. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
My dog, my dog. Well, BTG fans, we hope you enjoyed the show today. Man, we got it, man. We got to cut this down. We've been going over, but the debate has been crucial. Okay.
Yeah, the
And
debate
me
has been
personally,
crucial. That's because you've
this,
been capping lately.
speaking of Cat Mister, I don't know if Cooper Cup is better than Devontae Adams. I don't know.
I never said
Yeah,
that. I just,
man.
I
You
just,
thought about it. That should have been a no, he's not. That should have been a quick one, but we
hey, the
understand.
numbers
We
don't
got
lie. All right, I'm
anyway.
all right.
Bridge Guy fans, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure. Casey and I, we signing off. We will catch y'all on the next episode of BTG Bridge the Gap.